Good day, subscribers, and welcome everybody back to The Contrarian. For those of you who might be new to this channel, my name is Logan. Today I'm actually recording with a whole new setup, new audio, new camera, and everything. So hopefully this produces a better overall quality of video. That's my hope anyways. So let me know what you think about all of it down in the comment section below. But today I'll be talking about why I just went long, why I bought shares in Enovix, which is a battery research manufacturing company. It's definitely on the cutting edge of battery manufacturing, battery technology. And I'll get into the details why, kind of from a macro standpoint, I decided to go long Enovix, and also from a standpoint of them being probably superior than some of the other choices out there for battery technology companies, battery research stocks, etc. So first off, the macro standpoint, and this is definitely the most important. If there was not an overall bullish picture in the stock market, in my opinion, according to my assessment, then I would not have gone long this stock, Enovix. And this has to do with the fact that if you have net outflows, kind of just a net malaise in the stock market, almost as kind of 2022 was by and large in the stock market, that just is not a good environment to go long something that is so dependent on just kind of the excess liquidity, excess froth floating around in the market. And kind of the major reason for me going long something in Enovix is because I think that that kind of froth and speculation and enthusiasm that probably was most prevalent in the market in 2020 and 2021, I think that's going to kind of make a comeback here in the coming months. That's obviously just my personal assessment with almost investor psychology, where that could be going with excess liquidity, how investors are getting impatient. They just want to get more, returns. They saw the last year and a half they were missing out. Their portfolios are down some 30%. They want to start getting better returns. And so investors, in my opinion, are starting to overlook some more severe warning signs in the stock market and the overall economy. Foreclosures are rising. They're ignoring that obviously there's a lot of banks that have failed and important things like that. They're ignoring important things, in my opinion. And so it's because of that that you have the stock market continuing to rip higher, getting close to its all-time highs at the end of 2021 now. And in my opinion, you probably could see pretty soon from now it break to new all-time highs. And then at that point, it does usher in kind of an era, in my opinion, of a return of this speculation. So it's kind of on the backbone of all of this underlying assessment that I went long Enovix. And Enovix in particular, as I'll get into reading this article that I found, it is definitely on the cutting edge. It is definitely more substantive than other options out there in terms of trying to go long something that is going to benefit from a shift to green energy, a shift away from fossil fuels, and even something like consumer electronics. Their battery technology is kind of more focused on that. So going in the next iPhone or the next Android phone, etc. So without further ado, I'll not dive into the recent kind of results that Enovix put out on their recent earnings report. The stock did go through a lot of volatility after that earnings report, but it is a overall bullish picture, I would say, for presenting kind of the case for going long Enovix over pretty much any other battery or green energy, next generation type technology. So this article came out on The Motley Fool, put this out just after Enovix released their earnings reports just this last week, and the stock did undergo a lot of volatility surrounding this earnings report. It sold off, it then rallied kind of significantly and then sold off again. So, but it is a net kind of positive outlook for the company. So it's basically that they are now closer to mass production of their next generation battery technology. And this really gets to the crux of why Enovix over something else like QuantumScape, or pick your other green energy next generation technology stock, is that Enovix is much closer to actual mass production, and that's really the fundamental bull case. But basically, the shares skyrocketed as high as 22% higher on the result of this, and then they sold off some. So basically, Enovix produced 22,502 units in the second quarter, beating the production target of 18,000, and it forecasts continued growth in the third quarter of 36,000 units. So yeah, they're trying to basically ramp up production and of course get into mass production, which they are stating that they have plans to start factory acceptance, which I believe they're planning on building a factory in Malaysia. So that's kind of the location that they are planning on doing it. They are estimating that an 80% overall equipment effectiveness, depending on the cell size, could produce 9.5 million to 18.9 million batteries annually. And these batteries are mainly for consumer electronics. They're not necessarily for EVs yet. So it's mainly like a high-performance consumer electronic battery. So it would be going probably into like a smartphone or tablet or something like that. So basically, this resulted in price targets being changed generally to the upside. So there's different price targets that analysts have. I believe the kind of median price target is now about $28 or something like that. So a good, I don't know, 50% higher than where the stock price is now. But most of all, the progress that they're making towards mass production of their batteries plays into the market cap that investors are now willing to give to Enovix. It's not looking at their current sales or their current battery production, because that's nothing. You have to factor in what Enovix could be doing in just about a year from now, which apparently they're on track to begin mass production in 2024. Hopefully that does come about, but it's mainly the discounting mechanism that the market puts into place of starting to discount and anticipate these coming earnings with mass production going on, that you start to get, you could start to get some very high returns going on in Enovix. And all of this is maybe more amplified by the fact that Enovix has had a fairly high short interest up until recently. It might have dropped a little bit recently, but the short interest has been between 30 and 40%. I believe it's probably still somewhere in there. So short interest just adds kind of an extra cherry on top for a stock like this, because if you do start to get very, very good returns on the stock, it starts going higher, that could usher in some sort of a short squeeze as well. So that's just a bonus, in my opinion, that it does have a short interest. And if you compare a stock like QuantumScape to Enovix, in my opinion, there really isn't a good comparison there, because QuantumScape doesn't really have clients, at least from what I can tell, lined up who want their battery technology. They don't even have battery technology that is ready to go into mass production yet. Enovix compared to QuantumScape, in my opinion, is definitely the superior technology, the superior option to go with. Obviously, QuantumScape, it does have kind of a track record of being kind of a meme stock back a couple of years ago, so I'm sure that's maybe playing into it a little bit right now, but I do expect that Enovix would overtake QuantumScape eventually in terms of market cap and just investors being more optimistic with Enovix. But all this being said, I'm just making this video to help show you guys why I did end up going long a stock that is very much so on the early growth phase. It's not based on some sort of fundamental analysis that would, indicate that I should go long something like this. It's more so anticipating future growth, and even more so anticipating a return of investor speculation, enthusiasm, probably some short squeezes that occur, Enovix being a very likely candidate for something like that. So this is not a forever type position of mine, but I do hope that you let me know what you think about Enovix stock and maybe other battery research stocks out there that you're aware of. Let me know what you think about this video, and yeah, let me know what you think about the new backdrop. I will get some more decorations eventually. I think that's still a work in progress, but hopefully the audio and video are much better quality overall. So all that being said, I hope to see all of you again at some point.